Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to your last session of the day, Innovative Ways to Pair Deck with Students. So in this session, here's our little agenda. We're going to give a brief introduction of who we are in case you don't know us. Then we'll do a live lesson demonstration. So we're actually going to have you all go through a Pear Deck so that you get the user experience, but then I'm also going to present what I would see as a teacher presenting the lesson. So you'll be able to get both of those experiences, the teacher and the student simultaneously. Then we'll actually have a Pear Deck tutorial where we'll show you how to build your own Pear Deck. We'll cover the template library, the 6 interactive tools they have, and then how to actually create and start your lesson. And then we'll answer any questions that you may have. Okay, so if you don't know who I am, my name is Dominique Harbor. I am an ETS with APS Instructional Technology. I serve 5 schools, which are listed here. Most of them are in the North Atlanta cluster, and then I do have Kimberly Elementary. Pass it on to you, James.
Oh, all right. I'll tag in. My name is James Wilborn. Good afternoon, everybody. Also, educational technology specialist for Finch Elementary in West Manor, Peyton Forest, and Tag Academy. And I serve the Mays, Washington cluster. Oh, and Carver. Mays, Washington, and Carver. Yeah.
And so we have some of our contact info there. If you aren't following us on Twitter, please do. That's our email, and then our websites where you can find plenty of resources and helpful information. We also created a website just for this session that has resources to help you get started with Pear Deck, and that will be in the Google Classroom under our session topics. You can find those resources there. I'm going to put it in the chat also. UPEAF. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and start it. Okay, here we go. Right, lesson this time. So as you can see on my screen, this is what the teacher dashboard looks like. So as I'm presenting, I can see the question slides or what I presented to you all. So going through a lesson, I just did a slide for today's standard. So this is basically what we'll be focusing on today. And this was a template that I used from Pear Deck. All I did was put this text in here. Okay, and so this should be a text slide on your end. And so you all can go ahead and pretend as if you are a student and enter in your answer by tapping the answer question button at the bottom. And then it should allow you to enter text. And so I'm going to click show responses. And if you see my screen, it is showing me as you all are sending your responses, as you're typing. I have 2 different views. I can do a grid layout here, or like a list layout. And notice, because typically this would be used if you're in the classroom and you would be projecting this to your class. So notice I cannot see any names. So I don't know who's typing what. This is all anonymous. However, once I'm done with this session and I end it, it will show me as a teacher who typed what. Yes, someone said it is kind of like Nearpod. Yes, it is. And this section right here, if you see where it says notes, so in Google Slides, when you create a slide and at the bottom where you can enter in your notes, If you have any notes that are there, you would simply click here to see those notes if you needed them. So that's what that notes section is for. Here allows me to show and hide responses. Lock screens allows me to lock your screen, which means once I do that, you see that you can no longer answer. I've locked responses for this slide. In addition, if I click on this and hold it, it gives me 3 options for a timer. So I can select 30 seconds, 1 minute, or 3 minutes, and allow you that amount of time to answer that question before the screen is locked. And the new prompt down here just allows me to insert in a new prompt right now. So let's say, you know, we're in the middle of a lesson and I notice, okay, maybe I want to go back over something or just kind of see how, you know, you guys are feeling about the lesson. I can choose from these templates and insert a prompt right now. So I'm just going to do, let's do a quick temperature check. And so now on your screen, you should be able to drag a blue dot to show me where you are, how you're feeling. And then I can see, this is called the overlaid view. And so it just allows me to see everyone's responses on one screen.
Right. So you really wouldn't necessarily do that in the classroom, showing everybody how they're feeling in a sense. Yeah.
All right, I'm going to go on to the next slide. All right, and so this slide, let's learn about today's topic. So here I have inserted a YouTube video, an instructional video on this standard. So if you click answer question, the YouTube video should start playing within your screen. So it won't open up a new window. It won't take you to YouTube. You should be able to play it right there within Pedec. So you don't have to watch it, but we're just trying to kind of show you the flow of a lesson using Pedec. So I'm going to go on to the next slide, okay? And this is a question that allows you to use the draggable feature. So it's asking which of these shows 6 times 5. You would take the green check and place it over the correct answer. And so I'm showing your responses now so I can see kind of how the class is doing. And again, there's no names, so students should feel okay in answering the question knowing that nobody will know who put what answer. This is a multiple choice slide. So if you click answer question, it gives you the option to choose one of the 4 answers. I think you can choose up to 5, right, James? I can put 5 choices.
Yes, up to 5, yeah.
Or you can, you know, we only did 4 for this one. And so again, it's showing me how many students are answering. Or I can do the grid layout and just see the actual answers as you all are submitting them.
Dominic, there is a question. Question from Miss Ann Gabbard. So students can see everyone's response only if the teacher presses show responses that are on the screen that you see right now.
And may I add something, please?
Sure.
Absolutely.
Okay, so as far as seeing students' names, I think that if you put a link in your Google Classroom and the students are able to sign in through the link through their Google account, then you can see all of the students' names.
That as well, but also there's an option on those 3 dots where Dominique is on her screen, where you can open up the dashboard in a new window.
Yes.
And then you can see the students' names on there as well, yes.
Yeah, but that makes this whole Nearpod clutch because you can tell the 2 kids that are not in it yet. Right. You can tell the 2 kids that have a total misconception immediately. And you can address it right away. It's real time. But having those student names is what makes this the most powerful, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And again, this portion typically will be what you are showing on a projector. So the whole class will be able to see what I'm seeing right now. But like James said, if I were to open this in a new window or a new device, then only I will be able to see it. Okay, next slide. And so I think this is a number slide. So you're only able to enter in
Numeric answer, yeah.
numerical answer. Someone raised their hand. Cassandra, did you have a question?
Yes, so with the YouTube video that's inside, because it's embedded in the Pear Deck, will it work? Because I know that at some point during the distance learning, YouTube was blocked by APS.
Right. But what we know, it's been lifted. That ban has been lifted.
Yes. So they should be able to access YouTube.
Okay, thank you so much.
Dominique. So I have a quick question. So in the midst of working through the lesson, and I notice that, you know, a child answers incorrectly or is experiencing difficulty, how do I know right then who is experiencing difficulty along the way?
So in this live session with the dashboard, you would not be able to. Now you do have an option of doing a live session with everyone or doing a student paced.
Gotcha.
So with the student paced, you'd be able to tell, but in this live session, you wouldn't be able to identify which student is actually having trouble. You can just pretty much gauge the class as a whole.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you.
Sure. Okay, and so showing your responses. So again, this is just the different views you can get. So everybody chose 12, entered 12 for their answer. All right, and this is a drawable. I'm trying to remember what everything is called. The drawable slide, the drawable feature, which allows you to draw, write. You see you have a pencil, a highlighter, line. You can enter text and erase. You can change the color of your pens and as well as the size. So for this one, since you all are making arrays, I would just increase the size of the pen and just make dots. That would be an easier way for the kids, especially if they are not using a tablet or device. It makes it kind of easy for them to write or draw. I see somebody's drawing something up there.
So Dominique, if they wanted to see the students' names, they can click on those 3 dots in this remote learning session we're having, and they can click on open a new dash with a new device.
Yeah.
And then it will be on their phone so they can see who the student is on their handheld device. But while they're presenting, like you're saying, you wouldn't be able to identify that student by name, but on your phone, you'll be able to.
Oh, so that, yes, that would answer
Ms. Carter's
question.
Right.
So if you open, you see this open dashboard and new device.
Yes.
If you click on that, then you'll be able to use a different device.
Right.
And so that way you'll be able to see it because you wouldn't be showing what everybody, you know, in the class would see. So you have it, and it would show the student names.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And as you can see, some students are deleting their responses. So once you submit it, you can go back. It's not final. So if a student makes a mistake, they can delete their answer and go back and submit a new answer. All right. And then our last slide is I think it's also a draw slide, yes. But this was, I think most of these that we used were templates that Pear Deck already had created and we just customized them. This is also a Pear Deck template. So it lets students reflect on today's activities. They can type or write what they liked, what they didn't like, what was easy, what was hard.
Some of you like the drawing tool, I see.
And so I know you all just left the Nearpod session, and someone mentioned this being very much like Nearpod. It is. One major difference I would say, James and I were talking about this before, Pedec has templates that you can go and customize, whereas Nearpod just has already created lessons that you can go and customize. So it's a difference there. And then the features they have obviously are different.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
But they have templates, and James will be going over this in a second. They have templates by subject, by beginning, middle, end of lesson, and then templates such as these where students are just able to reflect throughout the lesson how they're feeling, or
Right.
am I getting it? Not really.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and end the lesson, and then you should get another, I wanna say climate change once I do.
Once you're in that session.
Once I end this session, I can give this a unique name, because you may run this session more than once. So you would want to give it a name so that when you get your results, you will know what session it was. So you may want to put a date, whatever it is. This, where it says publish student takeaways, I don't think we'll have time to go in depth into that, but we did put a video about it on the website. Basically what this does is create a separate Google Doc for each student with their answers, and you're able to go and provide feedback on that document for that student. And there's a way to share it to Google Classroom.
It goes to their Google Drive automatically.
Right. And so they'll see their individual sheets, and then you all can provide feedback, comments, and talk with them on that actual sheet. So I'm just going to click save and end session. And you all should see something that says, how did it go? You can give a thumbs up or a thumbs down. All right, any questions before we kind of move into the tutorial piece on how to use Pear Deck? I can't see the chat, so let me see.
Oh, no, I don't see any questions.
Okay.
In the chat. But Dominic, can you give me access to share?
Oh, sorry.
It's quite all right.
Quick question to Dominique or James.
Yes.
When you were moving the slide, so the teacher moves the slides and the children, all we could do was just answer questions, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Now, if you make it, that's in the live version. If you make a student page, then they'll have control.
Got it. Okay.
Right.
Okay, I gave it to you, Jane.
Thank you, ma'am. All right. Let me minimize all this. So now let's learn how to use Pear Deck. All right. So the first thing you would want to do in your using Pear Deck is go to Google Slides, slides.google.com. And if you already have a lesson already made and you just want to make it interactive, you can use that one. But for the sake of time, it's going to make a blank one really quick. And what you want to do in order to get the Pear Deck add-on, what you would need to do is click on Add-Ons. You should see that in your Google Slides. And when you do that, if you don't already have it like I do, you come down to Get Add-Ons. So you'll go to Add-Ons in your Google Slides and then come down to Get Add-Ons. When you click it, it should pop up here, but if it doesn't, you can just literally type in Pear and you'll see Pear Deck for Google Slides add-on. And this should say, I think, free. You'll click that and it'll be installed. And the way it pops up is once you're back to your Google Slide, you click on Add-Ons. And now it'll be here, and then you just click on Open Pedec Add-On, and it will populate on the right-hand side. So now, here are some really cool features for Pedec Add-Ons in Google Slides. The first thing that I noticed is the little hamburger, the 3 lines. If I click that, I want you to see they have a video on how Pedec works. You can look at that. You want to require the student login, as someone said earlier, so that you can get their names. If you're doing just a regular lesson or a workshop that doesn't require names, you can take that off. But for your students, you definitely want to keep that. And publish and share. Publish and share your lesson is a tool that you can use to share your lessons with your teachers or fellow co-workers and things like that. So some cool things that Dominique said. The template library is awesome. So if you need an idea of how to start your lesson, come to the template library. And as she said, there's templates for beginning of lessons, bell ringers, and do nows. And all of these are editable. You can change all of this. So if you don't like what they're saying right here, as you come in and get settled, follow these instructions, you can change that. And they tell you underneath what type of interactivity it is. This is a text slide, so they'll be able just to type. But if you're not sure, you can look at the question mark, and it tells you what the student will be able to do on that slide. So just to give you an example, just the beginning of my lesson, I may want to click on this one. And when I click on it, you see it's working, and then it pops up, and immediately I can take all this out and put something else. I can change that person too, to something else. But it tells you at the bottom what the student will be able to do and what you can do with this slide. Okay, and like I said, they have so many different little beginners that you can choose from. The draggable, as we already have done as well. During the lesson, let's say in the middle of a lesson, you want to assess them really quick. They have templates for that. A quick true and false, draggables, even a mind map. Maybe you want to add that during a lesson. They have so many different little templates for during a lesson. Maybe you need to take a stretch break. And you see this at the instruction slide. So the instruction slide, students will follow instructions on the slide. So let's take a 5-minute stretch. You know, things like that could be beneficial as well. And as Dominique said earlier, the reflection, as we did on the lesson, they have a template for reflection. Your happy faces, you can type out or draw out how you're feeling and all of that. So there's some really good stuff for your lesson builders. Our elementary schools are big with SEL and critical thinking. So with our SEL, social emotional learning, they have some templates for that as well. A moment of silence, what is filling your bucket today, what's draining it. And again, all of these are addable as well. Your stress check, you can change the people. It's so much to look at, and really good stuff if you ever need direction on your lesson. You can do these at the beginning of your lesson before you even start a lesson. You know, just an idea. And your critical thinking, making connections. Again, you can edit all of this. You can change that concept to something else, between apples and oranges, you know, or something like that. So they have some really cool and interesting templates that you can use that can guide your lesson. Now, when it comes to subject areas, they have done, I think, an awesome job. They have example questions, ideas for any content area. You can do a drawing tool. You can label things. Like if I click on this one, the labeling of a fly, I believe that is. You can just literally, you'll change all of these in the word bank, and then on the student side, they can type it in. Or draw it in, however they want to do that. Another thing they can do with the questions is matching. As you can see, they can draw lines to match the Spanish word to their color. So it's a lot of cool things you can do with that. Just as an example, if we start here with the littles, the K through 2, I love what they have here for templates for K through 2. dealing with phonics and dealing with spelling words, you can change all of this. You can change it from being a cat to a dog or whatever you're working on, whatever phonics you're working on. They have so many different little templates and things like that for our little ones, K through 2. They even have a draggable. And with the draggable, I'll show you. Let me see if it'll let me do it. With the draggable, you can change the dots to a plus sign, a minus sign, or equal sign, or other signs as well. And I'll show you that. They have templates for math, and as we used in our lesson today, that you can look at that I think will guide your lesson. They have templates for science. If you are teaching science this year coming up. Yes, somebody had a...
Also, sorry, James.
Yes.
So let's say you choose a slide that is a draggable slide and you want to change it to a drawing slide, a template. You can also do that. So don't think that you have to use the feature that is given the template. You can also change that. We did that with some of the slides in our lesson.
Right. All of these slides, again, are edibles. You don't have to do what they're doing. You can take all this out and make it your own. They're just guiding you and helping you build your lesson. And social studies, which they did a really good job with social studies with cause and effect. And they even have a draggable for maps. And again, you don't have to use just that map, but you can change that. So what I want to show you is how you can make one. Let's say, you don't want to use the templates. Let's say you just want to make one from scratch, right? So you can use these. These are your interactive ways. The text, the draw, the draggable, the choice, the number, and the website, which is what Dominique did earlier. So if I want to do a draggable, let's say I wanted to make this a draggable, which it already is, but I'm going to take that out. Let's say it's a regular slide, and I'm going to do this one. It's a regular slide, nothing there. And let's say I wanted it to be, I don't know, let's say we're doing 4 times 6 equals whatever. And let's say it was just a draggable. I want them to be interactive with that. Which you'll see the draggable option comes up. You can have up to 5 different dots. And what you can do is for each one, you can change them to something else to identify their answer. So you can make it numbers, but I think it's only single digit. People, and these are all preset. I don't think you can change them or add to them. But I can make that a flag, and I can even change the color. Maybe I want that to be blue. And then I can change the size of the dots over here. So if I was done with that, then it's gonna update my slide. So now down here at the bottom, I will know that the students have these 5 dots and they will have to answer the question. But if I want to use a map, just for the sake of time, I can click on Explore and do it with inside of Google Slides, and put a US map and click on Images. And maybe I want to use this. I want to make this my draggable. So now when they go and do their lesson, they'll be able to drag us. I'll tell them in the directions. I'll put a little instructions up here to put the flag or put the red dot on Georgia, put the blue flag on California or something like that. So there's a lot of creativity you can do with that. Another thing you can do is with the text, you're just having them do a word response, but you can build it from scratch. Multiple choice the same way. If I click on multiple choice, you see I can add multiple choice, and I stand corrected. You can do more than just 5. You can keep going. And keep going and keep going. Why would you want to go past E? I don't know. But You can make as many multiple choices you want there. The number, we all understand that. That's just a numerical answer. The drawing tool is cool because you can text or you can draw, and that's beneficial because if you don't have a tablet or iPad, all you have is a Chromebook or a computer, you might need to text in some cases. And then the website is, it's not necessarily interactive, but you can watch something. But the way you do the website, if you want to do, let's say you want to import a website, embed a website. Click on website, it's going to ask you for a web address. So if I were to do yahoo.com, you see it doesn't come up, but you would have to embed it. So what I've come to find out, Dominique, correct me if I'm wrong, I could not find the embed code on my school account in YouTube. I had to go to my personal account to find the embed code.
Well, it was so the embed code is this long code with, you don't need the entire embed code. You just need the URL that's in the embed code, if that makes sense.
I'll show them an example. I'll do real quick, no problem. Yeah, but you're right though. So I'm in my personal account. And again, they did lift the ban for YouTube, so students are able to see YouTube. So if I go to share in YouTube and click embed, I tried to just highlight what I wanted, but it took the whole thing. So when I copy that,
where it says starting with HTTPS
right,
and until the end, so notice that URL has the word embed in it. So you would just use that, not that entire embed code. And once you put that in there, are you putting it in there, James?
Right. So once you put it in there, you got to take out, because I couldn't just get out what I wanted. Okay. So I had to stop at the quotation mark.
Yes.
And then
it's very tedious.
Yeah, that part is very tedious.
Yeah, hopefully that'll be something that they kind of work out. But this way you'll be able to see a preview and it will work properly on the student side.
Like that.
So now you notice you can see the preview, and when students see it, they'll be able to see it from right within. Or if you just put in the link and the preview doesn't pop up, when you click on answer question, you would have to click on it for it to open up in another window.
Right. So now we have,
it's a little tedious. Again, hopefully Pedec will kind of work that kink out, but that would be the workaround for embedding a website into your slide, so that the kids, again, don't have to leave the screen they're on to view whatever website you're trying to let them view.
And then also, I'm sorry, I meant to mention this with the subjects. They do have world languages for those of you who are that teach a different language. They have different templates that you can alter yourself and make it your own, and as well as ELA. They have some really awesome things with ELA that you can really take a look at, from story maps to illustrating to all of that. The other thing that I want to show you really quick, they do have an audio piece, or record or upload audio files for your lesson if you want to give directions using audio. But as you see, it does say premium. Now, when you signed up with Pedec, if you have or have not, I don't know if they've lifted their trial for this COVID-19 or not, but take a look at that. That may be something that might be of interest to you. And as well, you can click on the video, see how Pedec works. And when you're ready, let's say, you know what, I have all of my slides, I'm ready to go, I'm ready to present. And you will come up here and click Start Lesson. And when you click Start Lesson, this little guy may pop up. And if he does, don't fret, don't worry, just click on Complete My Free Account. And once you do that, this should look familiar to some of you and new to some of you. Where's my lesson? Well, if I scroll down, that's the lesson I was just working on right there. And when I click on that one, it's going to ask me, do I want to do it in student pace or live version, live session? Student pace, I think we know what that means. They're in control. of everything that they're doing. And then the live lesson is what we just finished with Ms. Dominique. And that's pretty much in a nutshell it. But if you, when you're here, just take a look at your account to make sure in your settings that you have everything set up the way you want. Dominique talked about the classroom climate. Mine is turned off. That's why you saw those smiley faces and everything at the beginning. You can toggle that off or on. They do have Immersive Reader. It's turned on to allow students to read the slides in their Pear Deck sessions if they are text worthy. If it's just a picture, it's not gonna, read that. But if it's a text that you have put in there, well, that's already in there, it'll read it to them. So yeah, I think, this is an awesome tool. I call it the cousin of Nearpod, a distant cousin of Nearpod.
Takeaways was on that screen too. That's also something that you have to turn, a feature you have to turn on.
I'm so sorry. Takeaway.
The
Yes, the takeaway.
Takeaways, yes.
Right. So they publish your children, your students' work, and it ends up in a Google Doc for them to have the keepsake in their drive as well. With that being said, are there any questions?
What's the main difference, would you say, just with Nearpod? And you may have answered that. I think someone may have asked that, but what's the biggest advantage, disadvantage, or it's just?
Personally, I think I gravitate to Nearpod because the lessons are already made for the most part, like the vision that I have, and I can edit those as well.
Okay.
With Pear Deck, one of the disadvantages, and if I'm wrong, someone please let me know, they don't have a library of lessons. So you're basically making it from scratch or using their templates to make your lesson.
So I have a question. Can I turn a current Google slide presentation into a Pear Deck?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think the answer is yes. Okay.
Yeah, so you would, Ms. Carter, you would take that slide. Let's say you're doing, because you teach the gifted students, correct?
Correct.
So if you had a slide that you wanted them to interact with, then you would pick the slide that you want them to interact with, and you would decide if you want them to be able to draw on that slide, type on that slide, make it multiple choice. You get what I'm saying?
Yes, and so that's all from the add-on. So I would go into my Google Slides like normal, and then I would apply those features from the add-on, correct?
Absolutely.
And then I would share it to the students into the Google Classroom.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Hey, Miss Cook. I know who Miss Cook is.
Hi.
Hey. Any other questions, Dominique? You see?
Yes, Mrs. I don't know if I want to say this right. Ario said she found Pear Deck to be helpful with younger elementary school students. I can agree with that, especially the draggable feature. And I think it's just really a choice of preference. If you're a teacher that likes to kind of create your own content, I think Pear Deck would be, a better choice for you. But if you are like, you know what, I don't have time to create my own content, I need something to start with, and I can just kind of change it a little bit, I think Nearpod would be a better option. But these are just different options. I mean, you may want to use both. You may have a lesson where you're like, hey, Nearpod has everything I need. It doesn't. Let me go to Pear Deck and create something really quickly that is more personalized. Again, and this is not something that you have to use for an entire class. This may be for a group. So if you are really creating some differentiated instruction, you can create a Pear Deck lesson that hones in on a group of students, a particular student, particular skill, and it kind of lets you personalize that to them.
So one final thing on that. So I'm trying to interpret it for how I want to use it. I'm thinking that it's allowing me to make my Google slide more interactive for the students.
Absolutely.
Perfect. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and then, sometimes, with Nearpod, we all know, as someone mentioned, it's a hit or miss with their lessons. You know, you may not find the exact thing you're looking for, but you may have the idea, and Pear Deck may come in handy. They may
I
have.
love this. This is what I was missing during
Yeah.
virtual learning because I needed the Google slide to be
Interactive.
So this,
Right.
thank you so much.
Oh man, that warms my heart, Ms. Carter. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Carter.
Y'all are awesome, by the way.
Thank you.
Are there any more questions? We do have a feedback form for the entire conference. And I'm sorry, I couldn't find a shorter link. I'm going to put that link in the chat. So if you can take a few minutes and fill out that feedback form for the conference, we'd appreciate it. Again,
Yes.
we have our resources are located in a Google Classroom, so you'll have access to this presentation. I'm going to fix the recording so we can cut out that long piece where
Yeah.
it's been working for me. But our presentation, our website with resources, as well as our contact information. So feel free to reach out with us. I know sometimes we don't have questions until we kind of get in there and start using it.
Right.
Us, your own school ETS. You want to say something, James?
Now, I just want to stress what you just said. Please contact us. Don't be afraid. There's no question too silly. There's no question too crazy. We're all here to help one another. So please take a look at that Google Classroom for our section for Pear Deck. And if you have any questions at all, please reach out to us.
Yes, please. Thank you all for coming. We hope you had a great day of learning. We're so glad
Yes.
you guys decided to spend your day with us. Spend your
whole day with us.
one of your
Wow.
off days with
Yeah.
us.
Enjoy tomorrow. Enjoy tomorrow. Enjoy tomorrow.
Well, they're already off.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I've been working. My bad. Y'all have an awesome day. Have an awesome weekend.
Thank you all for coming.